Hello everyone, and Tashidalek once again. Today we are going to discuss the letter writing. This particular topic in writing skill is sure to come in your test. Normally it comes out of 8 marks, all right? So we are going to discuss letter writing. As you know that letter writing has 2 types, right? The first one is formal letter, and you have a informal letter. Most of the time you have formal letter in your board exam, okay? As you know that formal, the word very indicates that it is formal, okay? And the informal means something that is very casual. So when we have to write formal letter, that means you have to write it for official purpose. And this particular letter, informal letter, is very much personal. That means formal letter is meant for the official work. Take an example. If you have a complaint, if you want to write letter to editor, or if you want to place certain order, or if you want to inquiry, those are the types of letter that comes in the formal letter. And for the informal letter, if you have to write letter to your parent, your friend, your relatives, then it comes in the category of informal letter. Okay, so let's begin with the formal letter today. So today we are going to discuss the formal letter in particular. Okay, in the formal letter we will discuss the format of formal letter. Okay, the first thing that when you have to write a formal letter, when you have a questions to write a formal letter, what you have to do is you need to remember, or you need to keep certain things in your mind. That is the format of letter writing. If your letter is presentable and it goes with a particular sequence and particular format is applied, then you are sure to get more marks. Okay, first one, you have to write sender's address. Okay, now when you read the question, okay, before you write the answer, what you have to do is you have to read the question very careful, so that you will understand who is the sender of the letter, who is the receiver of the letter, what the letter is meant for, and what it is asking about, and who is the writer. You'll come to know all the details will be given in the question. If it's not given, then you have to write it your own. But most of the time, it will be given in the test. So the sender address, first thing that you have to write is the sender address. Now what do our students do is, after writing a sender address, they won't leave a gap over here. It is very important that you should keep 1 line gap. If not 2, at least you have to keep 1 line gap, okay? And then you have to write date. Okay, after a gap, you have to write a date. Okay, now when you write a date, there are different types of writing a date. All right, there are some who use numerical, there are some who use the words in between for the month. All right, now there are some people who write, okay, suppose 22nd April, comma, and 2020. This is one way of writing the date. I prefer my student to write in this way so that it will not create any kind of confusion. What happened is, most of the time there are some students who write 22nd for, and then not this one, 20, and then there are some students who write 22nd-4/20. There are different ways of writing the date. But what happened is, there is also a different of usage of date in the American as well as British English. What happened is, in our language as well, with Tibetan, what we do is, first we write year and then month and a day. All right. But in English, what we do is we write day, month and year. So it creates a lot of confusion. So I prefer my student to write in this way. Or you can make it short and you can write it whole. That's up to you. But you have to write in this way, and that's more appropriate. Okay, now after writing a date, you have to keep a line. That's very important. And then you have to write receiver's address. Receiver's address. Okay, then after receiver address, then you have to write salutation. Oh, subject. Okay, subject means what the letter is all about. Whether, what happened is for a big firm or big company, they get thousands of letters in a day. They don't have a time to read the whole detail of a letter. So what do? Is many a time they categorize the letter only by reading the subject. So the subject is very important. You need to write it precisely and correctly. Okay. After subject, you have a salutation. Okay. This also have a different way of writing, because there are some who, if you know the boss, okay, some people write dear. Okay, and then you have a comma over here, applying the British English, okay? And then there are some who simply write sir. And you can also write respected sir. And if you're not very much sure, and then respected sir or madam. You can write any kind of salutation over here. And if you're not very much sure about whom you are writing about, and then you can simply write sir. That can be also done. This is also done. All right. You can write any way of writing. You have different way of writing the salutation over here. Now after salutation, then you have the main thing. All right. The content of the letter. That is the body of the letter. Okay. Now, in this particular thing, you have to keep in mind that you need to paragraph every thing that you write. Okay, otherwise what happens is most of the time our children write it in a whole pages and you don't paragraph it. Now, in this, when you choose to write a letter writing, it's very important that you paragraph it. Okay, now I suggest my student to write 3 to 4 paragraphs at least in the letter writing, keeping in mind the word limit in which you have to finish the letter writing. Okay, now in the first paragraph number 1, what you have to do is you have to introduce yourself and about what you want to say. All right, and then in the second paragraph you have to, most of the time it is a cause and effect. Okay, it is a cause and effect. This is applicable to the letter writing as well as to the article writing, because first you need to draw out all the causes and what will be the consequences and what would be the effect of such things. Okay, if you're writing about pollution, say pollution, okay, what are the different causes for the air pollution, noise pollution and all those pollution, and if in case if you have such kind of problem with a noise pollution or a sound pollution or a air pollution, then what would be the effect? What would be the consequences? So if you draw out the effect and cause and effect thing in the main body, you may get better marks in your test rather than simply bluffing all around. Okay, so first one you have to introduce. Okay, and second one you have to write cause and effect, and third one you need to conclude. When you conclude, I suggest that you come up with some kind of suggestion. Okay, this is applicable to the formal writing, particularly to the letter to editor. Now, in the case of complaint or order placing or inquiry, you don't have to write about cause and effect, because if you have to place an order, you have to write what are the things, what are the commodities, what are the goods that you need, you list it out, and then you have to make a table and then you have to send. Okay, and for the inquiry as well. But if you are writing a letter to editor, especially if you have to write about social and common issues, definitely you have to write about cause and effect as well. And then you draw the conclusion and then come up with the suggestion. Okay, after this you have a complimentary clause. Okay, complimentary clause over here means, okay, before we write thanking you and all this, you have to write, hope to hear from you soon, hope you will publish my piece of writing into your newspaper, so and so. You have to have a complimentary clause, and then you have a, 8. Then you have to write your name, or signature, or if you have a designation. Okay, if designation is given, if you are the student council president, or if you're a teacher or a principal, or if you're a president, any kind of position that you hold in your life, you have to write over here. If the designation is not given, then you don't have to write. If the name is not given, normally what do we do is, if the name is not given, we write XYZ, or we write ABC or something. But we never write your own name if the name is not given in the question. Okay, all right, now you have a question over here, and we are going to discuss the question and we will solve the question for you. Okay, now over here, you are Tashi. The question says you are Tashi. Okay, now when you are the writer of the letter, that means, okay, this is the sender's address. Okay, Tashi over here, and address is you are the resident of Choklam Sir, Le UT Ladakh. Okay, this is the sender's address. Okay, that's confirmed. Now, since the whole world is under the grip of COVID-19 pandemic, you come across a lot of fake news about the disease in the social media. You are very disturbed by this. Okay, now about the news, or you can also put it as a singular, that doesn't matter. Okay, and decided to write a letter to the editor of the Reach Ladakh asking for the prompt action. Now the receiver address is whom you are going to write a letter. Now over here you are going to write a letter to. It is given in the question. When it is given in the question, you have to write a letter to the editor of a newspaper called Reach Ladakh. Okay. Now question is what the letter is all about. That is the important thing. See, it is about the COVID-19 pandemic. And what about the COVID-19 pandemic? About the, over here, see, fake news. With this, you are very, very disturbed. Okay, and that's why you are asking the Reach Ladakh editor to take certain kind of prompt action. That means awareness program, or taking stringent action against those who try to create disharmony in the society or try to create panic in the society, anything. All right, so this is the about the question, and we are going to write the answer over here. As we have discussed before, the first address should be the sender address. So B block, home number 3, Choklam Sarle, UT Ladakh, and you have to keep a gap over here, 1 line space or a 2 line space. It would be better if you keep at least 1 line gap, and then you have to write a date, and after a date you have to keep a space, and then you have to write the receiver address. Over here in the question, the receiver address is the editor, Reach Ladakh, and then after a gap you have to write a subject which is about regarding the fake news in the social media. Okay, and then about coronavirus you can write as that as well. Okay, and then you have a salutation over here, dear sir. Now, there are different ways of writing the introductory part. Okay, not necessary that you should always begin with through the column of your esteemed newspaper. There's other way of writing the introductory line as well. There's saying that I'm the daily reader of your newspaper and I'm very sad to say that, or you can begin with this as well, and then you can also say kindly grant me a space in your esteemed newspaper as I would like to highlight about. You can write that. And then also you can write that I am the resident of so and so, and today I'm writing this with regard to the news that is dated. You can write, you can begin in any kind of the opening line. Not necessary that you have to begin from this, but this is the commonly used one and an easy one. That's why I've written, through the column of your esteemed newspaper, I would like to draw the attention of general public about the fake news in the social media on the COVID-19. Now this becomes the first line or a first paragraph, or you can say the introductory paragraph about the letter. After introductory part, then you have the main body. It should have 2 paragraphs, or it can be a 1 paragraph, but I think I've written 2 paragraphs over here along with the last concluding paragraph. Okay, now we'll talk about the whole thing, about what you want to say, what you want to convey to the people through the medium of this newspaper. Okay, it says that since the outbreak of novel coronavirus or a COVID-19, the fake news about the disease going viral faster than the disease itself. People derived information from social media like Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, etc. Then the trusted sources like trusted source like WHO. Okay, what happened is people go through all those WhatsApp messages, WhatsApp videos, and then they share it. And then what happened is people follow this and unnecessarily havoc created in the society. This should not be done. Such news not only threaten the lives of people, but also create communal disharmony in the society. Sometimes through WhatsApp, what happened is some people try to create disharmony in the society, and then they pass on the hate messages, which has become the danger of creating the communal disharmony in the society. This should not be done, especially in such kind of adverse situation. Okay, now, and the next paragraph, large number of innocent people are more vulnerable to such news and end themselves out in the knee-deep problem. Okay, so what happened is there are some people who are misinformed or misled and were not very much educated. So what they do is they listen to such news and they become the victim of depression. So such things should not be happening in the society. So these are the main 2 paragraphs of the body. And the last one, after a gap, okay, what happened is, lastly, the government need to prop into this about the fake news, okay, and create more awareness program, and the stringent action should be taken if they found them creating fear, mislead and misinform the public. Okay, this is your this is the closing statement. This is a conclusion, and you're also giving suggestion that this should not be done. If it is done, then the government should be taking a stringent action. That is the message is conveyed. They should know that freedom is not free. That is the strong. You should write. Okay, you can conclude with the proverb or a saying or quotation, attach anything to end up. So over here, I have written freedom is not free. So many people that you think that you have a freedom of speech, and then you keep on writing anything, not thinking that what you are writing and what you're saying is definitely become problem for others. You're not thinking about this, and when you don't think about this, you create a lot of problem in the society. That's why I end up with saying that freedom is not free. Don't misuse the freedom of speech. And then you have you can write thanking you, and you should not or if you don't want to write, you don't have to write as well. It's your choice. So you can write yours sincerely, or yours faithfully, but yours lovingly, yours truly is meant for the personal thing or for the informal letter. But for the formal letter, yours faithfully, yours sincerely looks much better. Okay, so yours sincerely, the name is already given in the question, Tashi. Designation is not given, so we are not writing the designation. Okay, with this we have come to the end of the formal letter writing. Hope you might have understood and gained certain knowledge from this. Stay safe. Have a nice day.